We do have some breaking news to tell you as we're learning the Trump administration is planning to cut 80,000 employees from Veterans Affairs. This just into our newsroom. And here's what we know right now. The Department of Veterans Affairs is planning an aggressive reorganization that includes cutting 80,000 jobs from the agency that provides health care for retired military members.
A rally in Davenport today pushing back against proposed job cuts to Veterans Affairs and the Suicide Crisis Hotline. Photojournalist Art Medeles brings us there.
This is going to create longer waiting periods, reduce the availability for mental and physical health care.
It's because everybody that's coming up who's saying, oh, well, all the wait times are going to go up and all the backlog is going to go up. Well, I just have 4 years of proof that tens of billions of dollars and tens of thousands of people didn't solve your problem. So why don't we try it a little differently here? Let's give them a better organization. Previous administration spent tens of billions of dollars, well over 100 billion, and tens of thousands of employees, well over 50,000 in the last 4 years alone. And you know what? Our metrics have either just stopped or they've actually went backwards. VA has been on the high-risk danger list of waste, fraud, and abuse and poor quality health care for 10 years. That's just unacceptable.
There are 480,000 VA employees and there are 450,000 active duty Army. Veterans all over the country have been dying, waiting to get treatment. With 480,000 VA, that's 30,000 more than the active Army members. Why can't they get in? Or why couldn't they get in?
They just grow for the sake of growing. Nobody has called it like I'm trying to call it now in a real sense of a way, is to say, what is our return on investment? Are we helping a veteran? Well, we had a across the board reduction in force is what it's called. The legacy media, liberal media, the unions are all going nuts. How can you cut this money out of the federal government? The federal government will never survive if we cut 15% out of the workforce. Well, Bill Clinton and Al Gore in the 90s cut 13 to 14%, or 12 to 14% out of the federal government, several 100,000 jobs. The government not only survived, it got bigger again. So what we're looking at now is how do we do this and we go into systems that are broken and take out the layers that don't need to be there. The things that are keeping veterans from getting the benefits they need, that they've earned, keeping them from health care, keeping them from going into the community and getting the care that they need, getting access to new treatments like psychedelics or other things. We need to get that funding that's been there to fund positions and worry about funding veterans' health care and worrying about funding veterans' benefits. If we can do that, then we've got a chance. We can't get rid of bad employees, by the way. Did you know that? When we had the president sign the Bill Accountability Act back at the end of his term, and we fired, there was almost 4,000 people fired at the VA for stuff like showing up drunk in the OR. Guess what? The union had lawsuits, and when Donald Trump left office, basically the Biden administration, through some series of bad judgment, just basically quit and said, we'll bring them all back. This is the kind of problem we're dealing with, Shawn.
Look, I don't know any one of my friends, and I have friends with the top warfighters on the planet. None of them have a good experience at the VA. None of them have anything positive to say about the VA. None of them trust the VA, and that's why I quit going. Yeah. I mean, I have more friends that have died of suicide and drug addiction and depression and PTSD, and we just aren't getting any answers at all from the VA.
We spend $588 million, $588 million on preventive supposed suicide. We spend $2.3 billion in what we'll call treatment of either the health aspect of that, issues that they've had with hurting themselves, other things like that. $2.3 billion. So $3 billion total, roughly, in suicide. And yet our numbers are not changing, Shawn. Among the many things that I'm shoveling as fast as my shovel can shovel is to see, is there ways under right to try that we can expand some of those programs right now into psychedelics, into others, treatments, from range from hyperbaric to everything else that says, is this working? Today, even just as we're coming on, we changed the policy on transgender. You're not going to be getting your sex changed at the VA anymore. That's not what our services are for, and everything that we're taking money-wise away to that would take away from money that I could be spending on something else that are helping vets directly who are not even getting primary health care.
You know, you got the entire veteran population that's screaming, we need help, this is how you help us, and then you got the fucking bureaucrats that are getting in the way, that are slandering whatever's happening in the media. I think that's what makes it so frustrating, is we know what we need and we know what we want, and we can't get it done because some fucking politician in DC who didn't never step a foot on a fucking combat is making the decisions for us, and it pisses us off. I hope you're taking this in, because I am the guy you're trying to reach. Guys like me don't trust the VA. We just don't. But we do trust Tom Satterley, who is a retired Delta operator.
Yep.
He's seen it all. If the VA can be an interim and say, yes, we're aware of what they're doing, they're on our list, we have a partnership with him, we want you to do that, here, go. That is a big step in getting guys like me to trust the VA again.